Hello, this is 15 tips for buying a laptop under 15 minutes. I hope it ain't too long for you. In my last tutorial, I talked to you about how to buy a laptop and a website called productchart.com. And that tutorial was mostly for advanced users or someone that knows a little bit about computers and know what they're looking for. And this video is mostly for people that are clueless and doesn't really know much about computers. Basically for newbies and dummies. Not that I'm calling you guys dummies. It's just, computers might not be your thing. Well, I can see my subscribers leaving now after that comment. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue on with this video and hopefully you won't get bored. Before you buy a new laptop computer, you should decide on what you really need and then get the laptop that comes closest to your requirements. Laptops vary in terms of processor speed, screen size, battery life, and total weight. By the way, when I say processor, I mean the CPU. I do have a tutorial on what is a CPU, and I'll have that link down in the description. When choosing features, remember that there is no benefits in going extreme for features that you will not use or that brings problems with them. Also, keep in mind, whatever you buy today will become outdated very quickly, like say within 3 years. What you need to ask yourself is these questions. First, is fast good enough, or do I need a super duper turbocharged faster than fast? Today's processors are really fast, but most laptop users will never tax them to the fullest. Word processors and browsers work just fine with a CPU that is a step or two below the fastest processors on the market. Question number 2, do I need a supersized screen or will a more standard screen suffice? A big screen looks great and easier to read, but the laptop will be larger, heavier, and a few $100s more expensive. You will also have trouble finding cases for them. Let's say, for instance, you get a laptop that is 17.3 inches. You might find a bag that said it will hold a 17-inch laptop, but you have a 17.3-inch laptop. It would fit, but it would be a tight fit. And then there's the Alienware 18-inch laptop. For laptops like that, it is very hard to find cases for. Alienware do have laptop cases for them, but they're pretty expensive. Question number 3, how many hours of battery life do I really need? If the longest time you anticipate in being between wall outlets is 2 hours or less, then don't bother to pay for a longer capacity battery. Remember, more power adds weight and cost to your laptop. Question number 4, what is the laptop going to be used for? For those of you who want a laptop computer for gaming or video editing, you want to pay attention to the graphics card and the RAM. For the graphics card, you want a good graphics card, and to learn more about graphics cards, you can go to my other video on GPU Boss. For the amount of RAM that you're going to need for gamers, you're going to need at least 8 gigabytes of RAM. For video editors, it's best for you to have at least 16 gigabytes of RAM. And as far as CPU, you're going to want at least a quad core or better. But that's for gamers and video editors. And if you are a gamer and video editors, you need to take time, do your homework, and do some research. For those of you who is just going to use a laptop for browsing the internet, watching Hulu, Netflix, YouTube, or even word processing, this process is a lot more easier for you guys. Most new laptops out today has no problem handling that type of usage. Question number 5, pick a platform, whether it's Mac, Windows, Chrome, or even Linux. Although you probably won't find any Linux on any new computer. And also Linux is mostly for more advanced computer users. Not that I'm trying to say that newbies can't use Linux, it's just Linux has a little bit of a learning curve. It takes a little while to get used to Linux and to learn Linux. Linux is a great operating system, it's just that they don't normally come on new computers. But picking the right platform is not an easy question to answer, especially if you're not familiar with both Macs and PCs. But a quick overview of each platform's strengths and weaknesses should help. The most flexible operating system out there today is Windows. Windows appears on many more makes and models than Chrome OS or even Mac OS. Windows notebooks ranges in price from under $200 to several $1,000 and offer a wide array of features from touchscreens to fingerprint readers to dual graphics chips. Windows 10, the latest version of Microsoft's flagship operating system, provides a number of improvements over Windows 7 and 8, including the ability to switch between tablet and desktop mode, a revamped start menu with live tiles, and the Cortana's voice assistant. While it still needs more touch-friendly apps for tablet users, Windows has millions of desktop programs available, including the full versions of major productivity, graphics, and video development software. As for the Macs, all MacBooks come with Apple's own operating system. For the Mac, overall, the operating system offers similar functionalities to Windows 10, but with a different take on the interface that substitutes with an app dock at the bottom of the screen for Microsoft's Start menu and taskbar. iPhone or iPad users will appreciate iOS-like features such as Launchpad for your apps, superior multi-touch gestures, and ability to take calls and text from your iPhone. However, OS X isn't made for touch because there's no MacBook that comes with touchscreen. Some of the reasons why someone would choose a Mac over Windows is because of the myth that Macs cannot get viruses. I'm sorry to say that Macs can get viruses. They don't get them as quick as Windows or as much as Windows, but they still get viruses, and you will still need to have security software on your Mac computers. Chrome OS, found on inexpensive Chromebooks. Google's OS is simple and secure but limited. The user interface looks a lot like Windows with an application menu, a desktop, and an ability to drag windows around, but the main app you use is the Chrome browser. The downside is that there are a few offline apps, and those that exist don't always work well. However, if you need a device to just surf the web, check emails, navigate social network, and chat online, Chromebooks are inexpensive and highly portable, and they offer good battery life. Number 6. Decide if you want a 2-in-1. These days, many PC laptops fall into the category of 2-in-1s. Devices that can switch between traditional clan mode, tablet mode, and other positions in between such as tent or stand modes. The 2-in-1s generally come in two different styles, such as detachables with screens that comes off the keyboards entirely, and flexible laptop with hinges that bends 360 degrees to change modes. Most of these systems are much better at serving one purpose than the other, with bend backs being laptops first and detachable offering a superior tablet experience. However, if you don't see the need to use your notebook as a slate, you'll usually get more performance for your money and a better productivity experience with a traditional clamshell laptop. Number 7. Check the keyboard and touchpad. The most expensive specs in the world don't mean diddly if you have a keyboard that you don't like. Take a minute and play around with the keyboard. Make sure the keyboard offers a solid tactile feedback, plenty of vertical travel, the distance the key goes down when pressed. Usually it's 1 to 2 millimeters, and enough space between keys. Also, look for an accurate touchpad that doesn't give you jumpy cursors and responds consistently to multi-touch gestures, such as pinch to zoom. If you're buying a business laptop, consider getting one with a pointing stick, aka nub, between the G and H keys, so you can navigate around a desktop without lifting your fingers off the keyboard home row. Number 8. Picking your specs. Probably the more difficult part about picking a laptop for your needs is picking out the right kind of specs. Notebook components such as processor, hard drive, RAM, and graphics chips can confuse even notebook aficionados. So don't feel bad if spec sheets look like alphabet soup to you. So here are the main components that you want to keep an eye on. The CPU, the brains of your computer. The processor has a huge influence on performance, but depending on what you want to do, even the latest expensive model may be good enough. Here's a rundown. AMD A-Series, or an Intel Core i3 or i5. If you are looking for a mainstream laptop with the best combination of price and performance, get a Core i5. Now as for the i3, it is just a small step down. Now the AMD A-Series CPU are less common, but they promise similar performance. The Intel Core i7 processor is for high-end performance gaming rigs and workstations. The AMD E-Series or Intel Pentium or Celeron processors are found on low-cost laptops. It provides just enough performance to enable basic tasks such as video viewing, document editing, and web searching. You can also watch Flash video as in YouTube, Netflix, and Hulu. The Intel Atom, also found on low-cost laptops and 2-in-1s, for instance a Asus convertible laptop. The Atom processor offers basic performance but more battery life than the Celeron or Pentium. The Intel Core M3, M5, M7. Low power and low heat allow systems with these processors to go fanless. You normally find those in some touchscreens such as the Microsoft Surface Pro. Number 9. RAM memory. Some new laptops only comes with 2 GB of RAM. You don't want that. What you want is at least 4 GB of RAM in your new laptop. And of course, if you can get a laptop that has 8 GB or more, that's even better. Number 10. Storage devices, aka hard drives. Even more important than the speed of the CPU is the performance of the storage drive. If you can afford it and don't need a ton of internal storage, get a laptop with a solid-state drive, a SSD, rather than a hard drive, because you will see at least 3 times the speed and a much faster laptop overall. Number 11, touchscreen. If you're buying a regular clamshell laptop rather than a 2-in-1, you won't get much benefit from a touchscreen, and you will get 1 to 3 hours less battery life. Not only that, you will probably forget that you even have a touchscreen and won't even use it. Number 12, display. The more pixels you have, the more content you can fit on the screen, and the sharper it will look. Most budget and mainstream laptops has 13 by 768 displays. But if you can afford it, I recommend you paying extra for a panel that runs at 1920 by 1080, also known as Full HD or 1080p. And of course, if you can afford it, go even higher. Number 13, DVD and Blu-ray drives. More and more laptops today, they don't come with a DVD drive. However, if you really need or just want a DVD or Blu-ray drive in your laptop, you can always get an external one. The external ones normally connect via USB, and typically they are under 20 bucks. Number 14, battery life. If you're buying a large, bulky notebook that you'll only use on your desk near an outlet, you don't have to worry about battery life. However, if you plan to use your laptop on your lap, even if it's at home and or work, you'll want at least 6 hours of endurance, with 8+ hours being ideal. And oh, by the way, it's normally not a good idea to have that laptop actually on your lap. To determine a notebook's expected battery life, don't take the manufacturer's word for it. Instead, read third-party results from objective sources. And last, number 15, plan based on your budget. These days, you can buy a usable laptop for under $200. But if you can budget more, you'll get a system with better build quality, stronger performance, and better display. Here's what you can get for each price range. $100 to $250, the least expensive notebooks are either the Chromebook, which runs Google's browser-centric OS, or low-end Windows systems with minimum storage and slower processors. Laptops that are $300 to $600, for well under $600, you can get a notebook with an Intel Core i5 or AMD 8A CPU, 4 to 8 gigabytes of RAM, and a 500 gigabyte hard drive. Those are good specs. However, at this price, most notebooks don't have SSDs, a Full HD display, or long battery life. $600 to $900 or even more. As you get above $600, you will start to see more premium designs such as metal finishes. Manufacturers also start to add in other features as you climb up the price ladder, including higher resolution display and entry-level SSDs. Now for laptops that are above $900 at that price range, you expect to get notebooks that are more portable, more powerful, or both. Expect higher resolution screens, faster processors, and possibly discrete graphics. Now the lightest, long-lasting ultra-portables like the MacBook Air 13-inch and the Dell XPS 13 tend to cost more than $1,000, although you can get a Dell for less if you opt out of the touchscreen. High-end gaming systems and mobile workstations usually cost upwards of $1,000, $2,000, or even $3,000 or more. Well, I'm going to end this in saying after you decide to buy a laptop computer, you should stick with a name brand laptops made by big companies whose name that you recognize. The reason is that laptops are not easy to fix. A lot of times they are kind of difficult and they can be kind of expensive to fix. So you need a reliable, well-known name that ensures that you're getting the quality that you are paying for. Well, this has been 15 tips under 15 minutes on buying a new laptop. Well, that's it for this video. You can check me out on Twitter and Facebook, comment, don't forget that like button, and subscribe.